We start with this new this morning. Firefighters now trying to figure out what started a fire at a big house in the foothills. This is near Hank's house, the one where they shot for Breaking Bad. This is on Cresta del Sur Court. It's up where Montgomery meets the foothills. Firefighters rushed over there. They were able to get the fire out pretty quickly. Again, they have not said what caused it or exactly how bad the fire was, how much damage was done. If we get an update later in the show, we will let you know.
Well, as we get closer to winter, we are bound to see it. The constant closure of I-40 at the eastern edge of Albuquerque when it snows.
Yeah, and this winter, the state is going to do things a little bit differently, and it should have a lot fewer drivers pounding that steering wheel in frustration. So when bad weather hits in Santa Rosa or somewhere farther east along I-40, state police will no longer close the interstate in Albuquerque, such as at Louisiana, which is what you see right there. It happened a lot last year. Instead, the closure is going to start in Moriarty. The idea here is to let people who live in the East Mountains and beyond there a chance to go ahead and get home while giving other drivers a chance to stop in Albuquerque, where there are hotels and restaurants and so on and so forth. The new closures will hopefully keep scenes like this from happening again this year and from happening the beginning of next year. Remember, this was last year when weather in Texas had state police closing the interstate in Albuquerque for a couple days.
When you have some other part of the state or even another state where you've got a closure, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to stop everybody right here in Albuquerque.
Okay, this does not mean that everyone is in the clear, though. Commissioner Wayne Johnson from Bernalillo County stressed that the canyon is dangerous, which you know what, sometimes get that way. Drivers will be stopped in Albuquerque. Ultimately, it's up to state police to decide when and where to go ahead and close the interstate. Commissioner Johnson says this new plan is tough. It should get people home a little bit easier. The county is going to tell folks about the changes in the mail and on its websites. All right, 5:33. We all know it's distracting to talk and text on the phone when you drive, but did you know that having your kids in the car can be even more distracting, which means you have an even greater chance of getting in a car crash than when you're alone? That was the focus of Kim Holland's special assignment report last night here on News 13. We put two parents to the test, planting several cameras in their cars to see how their kids affect their driving. AAA says you are 4 times more distracted if you have kids in the car and 8 times more distracted if you have an infant. Listen to that, Elizabeth Alvarez. Both parents we videotaped repeatedly took their eyes off the road, looking back at their kids or even trying to help them.
There are days where it's very distracting. You know, I mean, I'm yelling at the kids, I'm trying to organize something in the back, clean up a spill.
Do you want to see something interesting? We'll show you the parents' reaction when we show them their video of their bad driving. Join us at 9 o'clock on 2 Casa Fox or watch the story anytime at KRQE.com.
Great reminder to be safe on the roads. All right, time right now, 5:35. 3 children are in state custody this morning after police investigate 2 separate cases of abuse. Alamogordo police say a school nurse notified them that she saw bruising all over a 6-year-old girl's face. Police went to the girl's home and they say they found filthy living conditions. They arrested the child's mother, 27-year-old Ordelia Boston. Cops are now looking for her husband, Jason Moat.
There were knives found in easy access for these two young children that were living in the home.
And over in Hobbs, police arrest the mother of a 2-year-old girl for neglect and also for living in filth. Crystal Adams and her boyfriend, Charles Brown, are charged in that case. Well, it is hard to believe, but it's been about a year since 13-year-old Dylan Redwine went missing. And
a memorial is being held for the teen this Saturday morning. It's at 10 o'clock at the Pine Valley Foursquare Church. That's in Bayfield, Colorado. As you probably know, Dylan disappeared last November during a court-ordered stay with his dad, Mark Redwine. Part of the teen's remains were found in June about 10 miles from Mark's home. It was in Vallecito in the southern part of Colorado. They were found in some very rough and rocky terrain. Investigators have not said how Dylan died. They are still holding on to his remains while police investigate.
One New Mexico war vet lost his sight and one of his hands, but he never lost his dream of being an artist. Michael Naranjo went from soldier to sculpture and has made quite a name for himself. His storied career began when he was blinded by a grenade attack in Vietnam.
This hand grenade rolled right up to my hand. I turned to look at it to push it away, but I never did see it. It exploded and that was it.
During his hospital stay, he discovered his gift for sculpting despite being completely blind. His bronze sculptures can be found all over New Mexico, including in front of the Roundhouse. Most of the people who see his work do not even realize he's blind.
Very talented man there. Good news about gas prices this morning. If you went to fill her up in the last couple of days, you no doubt noticed prices are down once again. A little bit of good news on this Tuesday. For a gallon of regular, it's below $3 in most cities here in New Mexico. The AAA says the average across the state is a bit more, $3.04 per gallon to be exact. And at this Shell station near I-40 in Rio Grande yesterday, we caught it for $2.98 a gallon.
I think it's great to be able to pay that amount here in New Mexico. It's a lot more in California.
National average for a gallon of gas of regular right now is $3.18. Prices are falling because of the light hurricane season here in the U.S. is almost non-existent, and because demand is a little bit down.